Hello, welcome to WD18, the Watford fan channel. Welcome to your match reaction Sunday/podcast review with Sam Ucko, Charlie Zazzera, myself, Jacob Culshaw, to talk through Watford 2, Birmingham City, nil at Vicarage Road, our second win of the season, both coming at Vicarage Road as well, courtesy of goals from the Hertfordshire Harlan, Milita Rajovic, and he's one of our own, Ryan Andrews, his first professional goal for the club. I was there yesterday. The atmosphere was unbelievable. Charlie, first off, mate, the post-match win buzz. Did you feel it come back yesterday? I'd missed it as well because I felt like we were so close the last couple of games, especially that commentary one where you were there, where we were just close getting over the line, and it was like managed to do it.
Yeah, it felt really good. I feel like this season we've had loads of games where we performed really, really well, but we didn't get the result that we deserved. And yesterday, I didn't think we performed that well. We'll kind of go into it in a bit, but we got the win. And people are right, like results are an important thing. But when you kind of take a step back and look at the big picture and see the body of work that we've seen at the start of the season, I think we should all be pretty happy. 2 wins, 2 draws, and 2 defeats. There's nothing better than a last minute. No, there is something better than the last minute winner. 2 last minute goals. And it's great to see Ryan Andrews score. Knee slide into the corner into just outside 1881, embracing Harry the Hornet. It was lovely scenes.
On Academy Day as well. You couldn't really write that, to be completely honest with you. Sam, how are you getting on, mate? It's another win. I know that's now how many points we're on. 8 points, 2 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses. But I said it on the match reaction. We needed that big time, didn't we? It felt like it was a lot of relief around Vicarage Road.
Yeah, huge win. It's good to be back. First time we've had a video, us 3, for a while. So big thank you to Andy, Jordan and DCW for stepping in while I was away. I feel like I've got big shoes to fill now. Almost lost my place in the dressing room. But it's good to be back, and an absolutely massive win yesterday. I feel like for confidence more than anything else, performance will come on to. But just getting those 3 points, those 2 goals at the end, and getting the win over the line was absolutely massive. And we saw the content that the Watford admin was posting was just absolutely amazing. You can see how happy everyone looked. The team seems really together for the first time in a while, and I'm absolutely delighted with it.
Having a field day, the Watford admin. I'll tell you what, the post-match vibes were phenomenal. And actually, I was at Mad Squirrel yesterday and if you haven't seen the kind of initial post-match reaction, you kind of tell the relief on my face. But as always, this video on WD18 is brought to you by the Mad Squirrel. The vibes yesterday there, by the way, were absolutely phenomenal. I had a pint of sumo, knocking it back. Best place to be post-match in Watford after a win, especially. As always, please drink responsibly. And we'll be back there on Wednesday for the West Brom game. And make sure to keep an eye out for our new content strand, which is coming very, very soon. Charlie, first off, mate, I've got to ask you, performance you said wasn't stellar. We got the win, but at this stage, did we just need that? And it didn't really matter how we did it, because I felt like the last couple of games, the commentary one was the prime example. The one game we concede 3, we score. It's one game we score 3, we concede 3, and there's other games where we keep a clean sheet and we can't get a ball in the back of the net. So was it just genuinely a case of just getting it done by any sort of means?
Yeah, I think yesterday was a case of the result was all that mattered. I think we've been on here quite happy with performances, but we said, look, we need to get a result. It's back at Vicarage Road. Birmingham were unbeaten going into yesterday. So I think that goes to show how much of a decent result it was. While we're here, I'll just quickly throw up some stats. What have we got over here? Can you guys see that all right?
Do you know what? This is our answer to MNF.
Just stop it there.
Zazzera with the touchscreen.
To be fair, although I said I didn't think it was a great performance, if you look at the momentum bar here, it's clear that we kind of dominated, especially possession. I just don't think that we were quite as cohesive or got into the final third as much as I'd like, really. And then if you look at the kind of main stats, we had an XG of 0.4. So we overscored our XG. You can't see that side, can you? I'll get that up in a bit. But XG 0.4, Birmingham had 0.81, so they had the better chances. We had more ball possession. I think this one was quite telling, was the big chances. We didn't create one big chance, which is I don't know, not a worry, a bit of a worry, but let me quickly get up the sorry, not as slick as we would have liked.
This is what Harrow Neville have to deal with.
Yeah, exactly. Just the XGs this season. QPR 2.95, Plymouth 1.16, Stoke 0.65. So even Stoke, we had better chances. Blackburn 1.39 as well as Coventry. So Birmingham, we had the fewest. So yeah, for me, I was quite watching it. I was a bit like, oh, this isn't amazing. But again, I don't know if I was happy with a point because I was thinking we need that win desperately. But then when this guy popped up, Milita Rajovic, in the 91st minute, look at his heat map there. Hopefully you guys can see it as best as possible. He didn't have a lot of touches. He had the fewest touches from anyone who started for Watford. I think only Scott Hogan had one less than him. One shot, one goal. That's what he does, the Hertfordshire Haaland. So, yeah, I think the result was massive yesterday. I don't think it was our best performance, but that's going to give us a lot of confidence, and we need to back it up against West Brom.
So, question here from, I thought this one was to you, Sam, from George Parker. Are other teams sussing us out? Birmingham were very compact and narrow and had some decent chances on the break. Red card helped a lot. Val got a lot spot on, and our quality eventually came through.
Yeah, I think it's difficult to say because I think there was an element of, particularly in the first half, it looked a bit post-international break fatigue. I don't know if that's the right word, but it just took 45 minutes or so for us to get back into the swing of things, really get a feel for the pitch at Vicarage Road again, a feel for the ball, playing together. We had a few internationals going out as well. So I think there's probably an element of that. And also, the good thing about Val Ball is that it did seem to be a bit adaptable yesterday. I thought we did go a bit more gung-ho in the second half. Yes, the red card helped, but I think also the substitutions were absolutely nailed on yet again. I think 3 of the 5 substitutes had a goal involvement. Andrews with the goal and Asprilla and Chatfordadze with the assists as well. So I don't think it's a case that teams are sussing us out. I think in football, I think it's almost quite circular in a way because I think there are games where we played well, such as Plymouth at home, 0-0, Blackburn at home, lost 1-0, where I think we probably deserved something. And games like yesterday where we don't play as well and we pick up the 3 points. So look, you win some and you lose some. We were on the lucky side yesterday, but I think everything balances out and we deserved it.
Yeah, agreed. I think just on that substitution point, that was one for me that Val has to get a lot of credit for. We mentioned it on the Val 2.0 playing style video. Make sure you do go and check that out with Jordan. And we talked about him making his 3 substitutions. And for me, the substitutions that he brought on completely changed the game for us and swung the momentum our way, like the graphic that Charlie put up. With Lewis coming on at half-time, gave us that balance on both sides. You got Ishmael Kone, who I think I went on to say he had his best 25 minutes in a Watford shirt. It's the best I've seen him play. Looked like a guy who came on with a point to prove. Chatfordadze, I think he's probably slightly better in his central role. But Asprilla, obviously Andrew scoring, but Asprilla and Kone and Lewis were probably the 3 that I picked out. As Charlie, you're someone just on Kone who's always been a big fan of him. But even then, by the standards that we've seen him before, I thought that he really stepped up. And as I say, the one thing that stood out for me was his forward thinking, his drive, his energy to get forward. And actually the pace he played his passes at meant that it gave more time for the attackers to actually go at the Birmingham backline. What was it about his performance that you thought that was a game-changing display from Kone?
Yeah, I really did think it was. But I want to give a shout out to, I'm not sure if he came on for him, but Tom Deli Bashiru, who I thought in the first half was our best player by a mile. Agreed. And I thought his performance was quite similar to Kone. It's actually Tom's birthday today, so I know Tom's a big fan of WD18. So happy birthday.
Ain't nobody.
Yeah, I just think they were one of the few people that were trying to make things happen, would want to take a risk, would want to beat a man, would want to do a forward pass or drive, progress the ball up the field. And I thought Tom Deli did that quite well in the first half. And I've liked Loser to do that a bit more, considering he was our best player. And then as the game went on, I thought Kone came on and did the exact same, but it was apparent when Birmingham kind of dropped a bit more deeper and had more tired legs. I was watching it on a completely legal stream where you had the Birmingham commentators. And although I wasn't that pleased with how he performed, they were very much talking about how it'd be a good result at Watford, how we're going to be in the mix. It's interesting hearing other clubs of fans how they perceive you, but they were kind of talking and they were like looking to hang on, and their energy was like, basically in the second half, how Watford really came onto them, and although they kind of had a few moments against us on the break, which we need to thank Dan Backman for, I think what Sam said's quite right. I think we just about deserved it. But yeah, Ishmael Kone, probably one of his best displays in the Watford shirt. So hopefully he can kick on from that.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll get on to some of the other standout performances, pardon me, in just a second. Thank you to everyone who's watching this evening. Lou Warren's in the comment section. Most people have Birmingham finishing above us. In terms of actual play, I thought there was levels between the sides. Sustained pressure is an underrated trait to have in a team, and we earned that win. I think that's absolutely bang on. A great stat here about Milita Rajovic, averaging a goal every 71 minutes. That's now 3 in 2 games for him. Comment here saying we should try Dave Chatverdazzi in the 10 and play Espria on the right and Martins on the left because we seemed flat until he and Espria came on. Jim, interesting comment here. We lost and drew games this year after playing well. Great to win a game, not playing as well. And this is one I wanted to throw over to you, Sam, from Ian. The game seemed to change when Espria came on. The team and crowd seemed to lift. Not the greatest performance, but at the end of the day, it's all about the 3 points. Just on Espria, he must be one of the most frustrating footballers because he's a different player when he comes off the bench to when he starts. What do you reckon?
Yeah, definitely. I was having this conversation yesterday with someone that I feel like, I know we haven't seen Chatverdazzi start yet, I don't think, but I feel like Espria, Chatverdazzi, they're just so much better off the bench, particularly against tired legs. Espria obviously will be hoping to start games, but he just doesn't seem to have that same impact. I think he's so much better when there's space is opening up and he's running at players. He obviously also, I think it was him who nutmegged Buchanan for the red card as well. So yeah, it looked really, really good yesterday, really encouraging. And I think it's just that outlet, that freedom that he plays with, the way that it's not a case that he doesn't have any positional discipline, because I think he does, but I think he's such an energetic and positive player that he's able to pick the ball up, drive at players, and he's got that killer ball as well, which assisted Rajovic yesterday. But what a header, because I don't think it was a good cross from Espria, but there wasn't the most pace on it, and Rajovic really had to loop it over John Ruddy. I thought at the time Ruddy could have done a bit better. I think maybe he'll be a bit disappointed with it, but fantastic header from him.
Do you know what? I don't think Ruddy could have done anything with that. Genuinely, I think it was that good a header. Sorry, Charlie.
Sorry, yeah. Good point. I just wanted to kind of fight a bit against Espria and play devil's advocate. Is it not a bit of a small sample size about he's better off the bench? Like, he's only started once this season, and I'm looking like at his fixtures last season, and I think he started once or twice. Like, it does look to the eye test that he does make an impact when he comes on. That Blackburn game stands out where he didn't have his best game, but I do think it's a bit of a narrative that is, I don't know. I think we've only seen him start one game this season under Val, so.
I think that is fair, and I definitely see your point. It's a small sample size. I've just looked at, to be honest, I think he really changes games. I think teams look scared whenever he picks the ball up, and it's almost like, as a tired fullback or a midfielder, you're looking up and thinking, with 70 minutes on the clock, you're tired. You look up and you think, oh God, here we go. And I think that impact on other teams, I think, is certainly one that we can utilise this season.
Yeah, absolutely. To be honest, just going back onto Rajovic, number one, that header, I can't, like, the last time I saw a header like that from Watford striker was probably Troy, but it actually really reminded me of Heider Helguson when he was at Watford, a guy who just leapt above everyone, generated all the power. I think we can't underestimate, obviously, Espria got the assist, but there was no pace on that cross. He's had to generate all of that power. He's going the completely other way. And I think in terms of what you said, Sam, about John Ruddy, I don't think he could stop that because he was at full stretch. And I think he didn't. I think the crucial part of that is he didn't expect that header from Rajovic. And that's the biggest thing for me. And then the other goal, and I'm going to cross over to you, Charlie. Hopefully this is what Ryan Andrews or his dad Wayne, but we're live tuning into like 45 Ryan Andrews. Charlie, Ryan Andrews, the floor is yours.
I wanted to sing my Rajovic song before that.
We're saving that
Rajovic is on my mind, and he's Watford's number 9, singing Jacob, I backed it when I watched that. Sorry, just on Rajovic. I was trying to watch the header, and I watched it on a few angles, and I'm like, has that like hit his shoulder? Like,
yeah,
how has he headed it? Because he's not met it flush on the temple or anything. But there's this one angle kind of behind him, just to the right of the rookery. And you can tell he goes up and he flings his head and it kind of hits the back of his head. And it's an unbelievable header to send it in that direction in the corner. So at first I thought, has it just come off his shoulder or something? And it's a bit of luck, but no, it was a brilliant header and unbelievable. But yeah, on Ryan Andrews, it's been coming. He's been picking up some great positions. We've been saying it a couple of times before. He looks so composed and so confident when he kind of strides forwards and get in those dangerous areas. He mentioned in his post-match interview yesterday, which is a really good watch. You could tell he's just absolutely buzzing and watching the goal. He's probably watched it about 100 times. But yeah, and he was talking about Val's told him to shoot a bit earlier. And he did that exactly. And he's claiming it was on target, so I back him all day. But it doesn't matter how it goes in. And yeah, just such a nice feeling to see those celebrations. You could tell how much it meant to him when the fans go over. For a kid who's been at the club since he was 8, his dad, obviously, who may be watching, played for the club in the 90s. So to see his boy, there was a video that I tweeted of his dad absolutely buzzing. That's what Watford's all about. You tweeted it, Jacob. Seeing an academy graduate do the business and score, there's no better feeling. And for me, I think this is just a start. I think he can go on to be a top player. Hopefully he can do it in a Watford shirt for many, many years to come.
Do you know what, Sam? It's one thing that I've noticed that just in terms of the contract situation, surely we've got to get him nailed down soon enough, because otherwise there's going to be clubs sniffing around, even with the England under-20 call-up. As soon as a player gets into that conversation, then there's going to be interest. But just on Ryan Andrews scoring his first professional goal on academy day, a Watford player who's come through the academy, a local lad doing it. I mean, it doesn't really get much better than that, does it, really?
Yeah, it's amazing. And it's a bit like London buses in a way. We didn't have an academy goal for ages, and we've had Adiemo at the start of this year, and now we've got Ryan Andrews as well. So it's fantastic to see his development from, I think his debut must have been against Reading in the FA Cup, I want to say, last January, and his development over the last 8-9 months has been fantastic. And he's growing into a player who, while he doesn't start every week, he seems to rotate with Jeremy and Ngakia. 2 really good options there for us. He's improving every single week. What I really like to see, as you say, Charlie, that mention of Valérien Ismaël telling him to shoot more, because I think an element of his game in those first few weeks was his decision-making, where at times he crossed it when he should have shot, or he shot when he should have crossed it. But his decision to shoot, while it took a massive deflection, was spot on. And it's something that Valérien Ismaël wants his players to do, is shoot from distance, as we heard from that video that we did a few months ago with the West Brom fan and the Barnsley fan. So delighted for Ryan Andrews, and let's hope that, as you say, Jacob, we can get him down to a new deal and he can really kick on from here.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with this with Lou Orns in the comment section. I feel like the team plays much better when Ryan starts, and Ngakia has been fine this season, but a technical level and threat going forward when Ryan starts raises. And I think this is a nice comment as well from Robbie. Ryan and Asprilla give me Kiko Sarr vibes, but so much more fun to watch. I think one thing that I've noticed, particularly with Andrews on the right and Asprilla playing on the right, is that the fact that obviously Asprilla is going to be inverted and cutting in onto his left gives Ryan the opportunity to either go on the outside or underlap him, which is such an asset for us, particularly with his pace going forwards. Look, I was absolutely buzzing. I was saying to the guys being there yesterday, like, what felt like a long time since I've had a buzz like that watching, I think as well, I'd say a long time. It was probably about, at the start of this year with Adiemo when he scored against Blackpool. It was that sort of relief, the pride. Just felt like it, just so happy for him. And it, like, as you say, even though it got a deflection, it didn't really matter as long as it was hitting the target. And I'll tell you what, if Ryan is watching it, that is a hell of a knee slug, by the way. I'll tell you what, I didn't think he was going to keep going, just going into the rookery. But just the scenes with the fans kind of taking in the players. It felt like we got a bit of a connection back yesterday, which we've been missing for a little bit. So credit to Ryan. Hope he's doing well. And looking forward to seeing more of him. Just going back on to yesterday, Sam, who else stood out for you? Because actually, you know what? Who else stood out for you? One man I wanted you to talk about was Daniel Backman, because I think we're very quick and easy to say what he doesn't give to this Watford team with his feet and his distribution. But actually, on another day, we could have come away with nothing from that game if it wasn't for him. Not only was there a big save within about a couple of minutes, 20 seconds. If that is him, these are a bit grey. He's worth it though.
Go on, lads.
It's quality. I was just going to say, Sam, in terms of Batman, big couple of saves, even second half as well. You know, passing the back at a couple of times when he not make their striker, I was thinking, Jesus. But yeah, big saves at a crucial point in the game. And as Charlie said at the top of the show with the stats, you know, big chances created. Birmingham did beat us in that department.
I'm delighted for Dan, because being in Vicarage Road, I think there's an element that some fans want him to fail. I'll be completely honest with you. I think some fans are wanting to be proved right by the way that they didn't want Backman as captain and they didn't want him to have that 5-year contract. I was someone who I was on the fence. I pretty much said that at the time. And I think so far this season, while there are elements to his performances that need to be improved, particularly his distribution, which did improve yesterday, actually. He proved his weight in gold yesterday. A real captain's performance, stood up when we most needed him. That save in 20 seconds was probably a save that you expect him to make, but one that, you know, it's crucial all the same. And that double save from Scott Hogan, I think it was absolutely fantastic. Also looked really brave coming off his line. So on the whole, really, really, really positive display from Dan Backman. Alex King told me as well, who did the TikTok, so make sure to go and check it out. He was in sort of Dan Backman's line of in line with Dan Backman when that goal went in, and I think there's some pictures of him and Ryan Porteous celebrating, just jumping in each other's arms after the last minute winner. So I think it's a really good display of team unity. But Backman was exceptional yesterday, and I just hope that he can keep proving people wrong, because what else is that? Clean sheet number 3 this season as well, after 6 games, which isn't bad at all. So fair play to him, and hope he keeps it up.
Yeah, 3 out of 4 at home.
Amazing. Yeah.
Pretty good. Do you know what? We'll do player ratings, so we'll get on to more individuals in just a moment, and let us know what you think in the live chat below. Obviously, please do leave a like if you go and enjoy this video. Subscribe to WD18. Follow us on socials at WD18 fans. Charlie, just wanted to change the chat a little bit before we get onto the player ratings and talk a little bit more about sort of the individual performances. But some news that came out yesterday from Adam Leventhal, kind of the main source for all Watford news, alongside Andrew French, about Valérien Ismaël potentially be giving a new contract. Exploratory talks have kind of taken place between Val and the club. They've been impressed with what he's managed to do in such a short space of time. I have to say, when I saw it come on my Twitter feed, Charlie, I did have to double take. That this, number one, it was a legitimate Adam Leventhal account and it wasn't a sort of spoof. And number two, that this is Watford Football Club, because the last time I think I saw a manager get a contract was Javi, right? So, or a contract extension. So, yeah, what was your initial thoughts? Surprised like me?
My initial thoughts when Sam put it in the group chat, I just thought Sam was buzzing with the 2-0 win against Birmingham. He was like, new contract now. I was like, okay, Sam, steady on. When I saw Leventhal reporting it, yeah, shocked. Interesting. If I'm totally honest, like, I'm not like sign the ting kind of straight away. I'm a bit like, is it too early? I don't know. Like, it's great to see if they're doing it. They're obviously trying to make a statement. They've obviously been really impressed with what they've done, not only on the pitch. There's obviously been a culture change we've seen. There's a great video that the club put out yesterday, just when Ryan scored, of all the people on the bench absolutely buzzing, from Val and all the players kind of pouring onto the pitch. So it just seems like that togetherness is getting back and that culture is getting fixed to what we need to be. So the fact that Val's managed to do that amidst all the players that were leaving, I think he's done a brilliant job. He has got us an identity, which we really, really wanted. So I think he's done a really good job so far. We have only won 2 games. For me, I'm just a bit like, I'm scarred from kind of Mr. Potso himself, and I'm like, can you imagine if we give him a new deal, we don't win the next 10, and then we have to pay him out more? I don't know. What do you make of it, honestly? Like, do you think it's a really good move, sign him up, or should we have some trepidation? What do you reckon, Jacob?
you know what, Sam? I'll throw this one over to you only because I'll give a few more details about sort of the contract just from what Adam Levital said. But what was your reaction as well, and then I'll throw mine in.
Delighted, to be honest with you. I think what we're seeing at the moment is a real change in culture at this football club. While it was a summer of uncertainty, there are three things that I particularly want to pick up on, which are representing a culture change. One is academy players finally being used and appreciated, such as Ryan Andrews with the goal yesterday really sums it up. Second one is club bringing back ambassadors, Luther Blissett coming in as well, trying to reconnect that, reconnect what it is to be a Watford player with the fans as well. And the last one is hopefully changing the managerial culture as well, because what Luther Blissett, what Valérien Ismaël has brought so far, I think has been fantastic. While results haven't necessarily been there, he seems to have the players on side. The culture in the dressing room looks to be as good as it has been in a few years at least. And I think that this shows to players, it's a sign to players and fans that even if results don't go well, or results do go on a downturn, that we're going to stick by our man and really be happy with him. And I think it shows as well that they're happy with what he's done behind the scenes after this uncertain future. So I'm really happy with it. Obviously, with the Pozzos, they can change their mind within a couple of minutes and he could sign the new deal and get sacked next week. But I like to think that it represents a fresh start for Watford.
Absolutely. Looking at the article that Adam Levital released yesterday, discussions are understood to have started last month during the opening phase of the season. It is a sign of the belief that the hierarchy having the work of Ismaël and his staff that are going on behind the scenes. They didn't disclose the length of Ismaël's contract when he first joined the club, but apparently it's believed to be a 3-year contract with various clauses inside of it. And talks are now centred on lengthening the contract and including enhanced conditions for Ismaël. In answer to your question, Charlie, I was like you. I was surprised. I think it's gone completely against what we've seen before. Would I be a fan of it? I think the one thing I would say is, and it's one thing that Chris Wilder actually said when Andrew French spoke to him, was that he's an authoritative figure. And I think for too long, we've probably not had characters like that who are just very quick to go, I want you, I don't want you. And we've needed that at Watford in terms of resetting the club culture in terms of the squad. I think one thing it does is it means that it kind of suggests to me there might be some interest in Ismaël elsewhere, potentially. You know, why would you put the contract in that early on? I guess it stops from any club coming in. I don't think it would be a problem at all. And look, I'm more than happy to sort of trust the judgment on this because the people that are giving him the new contract are going to be seeing him do the work behind the scenes every day, day in, day out. And also, you've got to admit, it's not just Ismaël, it's his staff as well, like Dean Whitehead, like Omar Reza. And I think obviously they've liked the dynamic between the coaching staff. So, I mean, arguably a little bit premature at this point in the season, but look, I'm happy to trust the judgment on that. And I think Ismaël was very good in actually acknowledging the fact that we've been quite patient with the supporters at the start of the season. You know, at times it's been a little bit tough to watch. And I think we've all sort of bought into, or not all, but like I think we're all sort of looking to go in the right direction. It feels like for the first time, at least we're kind of aligned on what we're trying to do. I mean, sort of expectations are going to be a little bit different between certain fans. For me, we've already said it on the channel, but I'm more than happy to back Ismaël. And I think, to be fair, the majority of fans are backing Ismaël in terms of, I think before it was sort of manager before the player, whereas I think this would be a statement that it'd be manager. It would be the manager before the players, whereas before it was players before the manager. You know what I mean? Anyway, let us know what you think in the comment section below. We're going to move on to some player ratings now. Ismaël potentially getting a new 3-year contract. It is just talks at the moment. Lou Warren says, reading between the lines, it sounds like there's certain clauses they want removed and there might be interest from elsewhere. I think that's probably the case. Yeah, Jim Cahill. I hope it's not nail in his coffin, like winning manager of the month downhill. After that, for a few,
it reminds me a bit. Sorry, Jacob. Last summer after the Newcastle interest, when João Pedro signed a new deal, and I think it was just to put those extra clauses in, release clause or whatever. Good to see him scoring at Old Trafford yesterday, but I assume it's a similar contract to that where we'll just be putting those extra clauses in if there is interest from other clubs, certain compensation and that sort of thing.
Yeah. Ian says in the comment section, we criticise when we sack managers, we extend the contract and there's still doubt. So you can't really win. Anyway, moving on to player ratings. Watford 2, Birmingham 0. We're going to fire them over. Quick fire. Let us know in the comment section what you think. We've got quite a few to get through today because obviously with the subs that came on had a big impact. So let's get the lineup up here. We'll start with Sam with Daniel Batman.
9. Don't win the game without Dan in goal yesterday. I thought everything was improved in his game and made, that crucial save in the first 20 seconds, like I said, as well as that double save. So I'm going to give him a 9.
9. Ngakia, Charlie?
I actually thought Ngaki was quite good. And I actually thought he looked okay driving forward with the ball. I think sometimes his end product could need a bit of work. A 6.
6. I've got Ryan Porteous. I'm going to give him 7.
His passing was a
little bit iffy, but having said that, he was winning quite a lot in the air, and I thought, I guess
he made an amazing block as well towards the end.
Yeah, that's a good point, Sam. Was it second half?
Yeah, I think about 80 minutes or so, threw himself in front of the goal.
Yeah, I'd give Porto a 7.
And he shushed one of their players and sent him away, which was good fun.
Mate, love that. I'll tell you what, John Eustace must be watching that on the side, thinking, "Wow, that's a good day." Dan Batman, Dan Batman, Ngakia, Wesley Hoot, Sam.
I'll give him a 6. To be fair, I thought his passing was a bit off yesterday. To be fair, I think at times we also struggled to deal with the movement of Hogan and who's the other fella? Stansfield.
He was sharp.
Yeah, look, really good player. Wasn't a bad game from Wesley. So 6.5, I think.
6.5. Nick also said that Porto hit the post too. Ian says in the comments that Newcastle scouts watching Porto. Interesting. So Charlie Zazzera,
50 million, please.
Yeah, 50. Mate, and the rest. James Morris, who I don't want to. No, you take it. I thought he struggled myself.
Really?
Mm.
What do you? I'd give him a 6. But what do you think he struggled with?
Maybe not struggle. Struggle's probably the wrong word, but I think there was a difference when Lewis came on. I saw the difference in level, and also I think the players don't trust Morris completely. And the reason I say that is the amount of times he actually overlaps a player, and Martins never passes to him.
Anything on him though? Did he play badly?
Yeah, maybe not. It's probably a bit harsh, but I think you saw the level when Lewis came on. There was a. I mean, Lewis looked quality. I have to say, first game in a while as well.
I thought Morris struggled physically yesterday. To be fair, there were about 2 or 3 times where he was outmuscled in that first half. Where when I say outmuscled, but I just thought he could have been a bit stronger off the ball. On the ball.
Struggled might be a stretch. I think it was just. I think when I saw Lewis, he gave us that balance a bit more, and I think it allowed us to attack down the left-hand side. Whereas before with Morris, it felt like, as you say, maybe this is not on him to be fair, but the players weren't really trusting him when he's going forward, which I'm not sure about.
Yeah, but I think he was okay. Maybe not as great on the ball, but like we talked about in the Val Ball video, I really like the positions he takes up when he inverts and kind of creates space for other people. I think he's got quite a good understanding. It was interesting that he went straight back in. But obviously, Lewis has come back to fitness. But yeah, I'm sure there'll be let us know in the comment what everyone thinks of James Morris. But I thought he was okay. 6.
Moving on to Sierralta, and this is kind of teed up from Luans. What do you guys think of Sierralta? Off the ball, he's good, but on the ball, he always looks at his first touch and troubles to turn. This is my one, right, with Sierralta?
Go for it.
So I'm a bit split with him because on the one hand, I think he gives us that option of dropping into the back three, which at times yesterday was valuable, especially with Birmingham starting to attack us a little bit more. But one thing that's clear to me that he's not a midfielder is the fact he cannot take the ball on the half turn. And I think there will come a point where that is going to be a problem because he can't take it on the back foot, which means effectively all the passes he plays is going backwards. And whilst it works with sort of combinations like we did against QPR, where it's sort of centre back, Sierralta, full back, play out, when that passing lane's blocked, we're in a little bit of trouble with him. So I can understand why. I think yesterday, because Birmingham's midfield needed that physical element against it. It worked, I think, just about. But I think there's going to be some games where I would actually take Sierralta out because we need someone who can, whether that's Kiembe, whether that's Livermore, who can just get it down a little bit more and on the turn. So I think I'd give Sierralta 6.5.
So you played Kiembe or Livermore in certain games over Sierralta?
Yeah.
Disagree. I just think he's so important, like positionally and having that presence. I think Luke's bang on in terms of good out of possession, not great in possession. And you're right about on the half turn, but I think structurally and the way he helps us with our shape, I think he's pretty important. And again, small sample size with Livermore and Kiembe, but I don't think they've got that presence that he does.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. Let us know what you think in the comment section below. Sierralta, I think 6.5. 6.5. It's probably fair. 6.5. Go 6.5. Moving on to Tom Dele-Bashiru, Charlie, who, as you say, I think pick of the bunch in the first half. Thought he was really good.
Yeah, I'd say an 8. Like, it always looks to be positive. I feel like he's growing every game. I feel like he feels like he's got that place in the team now, and he's got that confidence. He can beat a man. He can kind of break lines. And yeah, he makes really good runs, which kind of creates more space for either Martins or Rajovic. So yeah, I was impressed with him. I'd give him an 8.
8 for Tom Dele-Bashiru. Imran Louza, Sam?
Really poor yesterday, I thought, particularly in that first half. I didn't think he was looking to receive the ball enough when we were trying to play between the lines from defence to midfield. I thought he went missing a bit, and I think he struggled as well with Birmingham's physicality. It wasn't his worst game. But I think a player of his quality, we should be expecting a bit more from him. I'll go 5.5.
Is that down to him, Sam, or do you think it's the service he's getting from the midfield? And this is what I mean about Sierralta, because I felt like he was getting in quite good positions, Loser, but he wasn't getting the ball. I felt sometimes, like with the back line, we were quite happy to pass it around, but we never pass it to someone who was marked. And what I mean by that is there's sometimes you just have to take a little bit of a risk, I think, and sometimes we're a little bit too safe with our passing. What do you think about that in terms of, would you say it's down to him, Loser, to drop in deep and get it, or is it actually on the other players to find him?
I see what you mean. I do think there's an element of the system as well. I don't think necessarily benefits him, particularly with Sierralta in that holding role. But I just want to see a bit more from him. I still think he could have done a bit more to impose himself on the game, particularly when he was pressing and trying to win the ball back. I just think that there's another gear that he can go up there. We've seen what he's capable of, and I just want him to show that on a bit more of a consistent basis.
Do you not think he improved in the second half? Because I thought he did. And I think Val might have said, I think you're right about first half. And I think sometimes he just needs to get involved and drop deep or move to the other side and get on the ball because, like I said, we needed quality in the middle. And he wasn't as visible as we hoped. But I did think in the second half, he got involved more, wanting to get on the ball, made a few things happen, especially towards that right side of Asprilla and Andrews.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair. I think 5.5 was probably harsh from me. I got up to a 6.
Do you know what? The amount of times Charlie sort of like convinces us just to put it up by a couple.
I got up to a 6, but yeah, I do think that. Do you know what I mean, though? Because we've seen what he's capable of. I just think that we need to see more from him.
And he's a £10 million player.
Exactly.
I'm going to might be a little bit controversial, but I would be tempted to play Loser in that Sierralta role. And put someone like Kone or Chatfordazzi a little bit further forward. Because I think you could almost have Loser as that sort of quarterback who's just spraying balls. And I think the amount of times we'd be able to break the press would be...
Yeah, but what protection would we have for the defence on turnovers? Like, can you trust Loser?
He's done well before, though. I know he's not naturally that position, but I think for me, you want to get your best player on the ball as much as possible. And in that position, Loser would get on the ball, he'd get on the half turn, and he'd be able to his passing is probably the best we have at the club. I'd be tempted. Look, maybe that's just a little bit of a wild one for me. Let me know. I might be chatting absolute rubbish, so tell me in the comment section if I am.
I don't mind it.
Don't mind it. It was just one of those. And also, I think with Kone's performance yesterday, it just made me think we do have other options in that centre midfield. So might be just an option at some point. Also, all I'm going to say. Geordie, thanks so much for watching, mate. Not sure how this has only got 13 likes. Great analysis. Really appreciate that, mate. 80 still watching. 2 for you likes. Smash a like for the boys. Really appreciate that, mate. Geordie does go on to say I'd play Kiembe and Sierralta as DMs and change formation to allow us 2 strikers, which could be a potential system. Next up is who am I missing? So we've done the midfield. We'll go on to Tom Ince, who I was happy to see start. I think it's really nice that we've got 2 options from the right who are left-footed so they can cut in. I thought he started brightly. I think he probably would have benefited with someone making I think Ngaki was making quite a good couple of overlaps and stuff, but it felt like you could tell they hadn't played with each other that much before, like in terms of the timing of the pass and stuff. So I probably give Ince a 6. It was okay, I thought. Moving on to Rajovic, Charlie. That's now cueing you to do the chant, by the way.
Rajovic, he's on my mind. That is what was number 9 singing, dude. Lita, the Hertfordshire Haaland, did nothing all game but scores the goal in 91st minute. 8. if he does that every game, happy days.
That's what he's had to do, isn't it?
I actually watched back the social clip we put up from the Matthias, who we done the video with, and to hear what he said, he was just like, he's just going to be in the box scoring goals. Like, that's what he does. And it's like, what if you watch it back, is exactly what he's been doing. I thought he wasn't as good maybe outside the box link-up play, especially in the first half, but you just can't say anything when you're scoring goals. So 8, keep it going.
I thought his movement off the ball was excellent as well. Just wasn't really found in that first half. There were some times where I couldn't make the game yesterday and I was screaming at the stream, just thinking past him. It's just great, brilliant run or a good position in the box. But yeah, it's all you can ask for, isn't it?
I want to see him rough up defenders a bit more, though. Like, just a bit more, a bit of physicality. He's a big boy. And even just kind of that physicality around him, let him know they're there. But yeah, great start.
Great start. Do you know what? One thing for me, though, we have to get the ball in the box a bit more. Honestly, the amount of times you're thinking, like, we're in great position here. It's not even got to be a great ball. As yesterday's found out, he doesn't have to be straight onto his head. Just give him something to attack. And I think with his height and his leap, he could be such a threat for us. But that was the one frustrating thing for me yesterday is, like, this guy, he could, especially at corners as well, like he should be attacking pretty much every single ball. Nick in the comment section, interesting. We do give both sides the positive, negative, and the sort of the more objective look. And Nick does say Rajovic needs to be better holding up the ball up. Was Bayo-esque for most of the game with a 50p touch. It's 50p touch, but give him a chance and it seems he'll take it. Get the ball in the box more. I agree with the last line. Sam, I'll throw it one over to you, mate.
Yeah, I said this after the Coventry game where I know he scored 2 goals, but I was saying I just wish he was a bit more aggressive off the ball, as Charlie said there, rough defenders up a bit more, and I also think his hold-up play could be a little bit better. I think we've got really good options, midfielders moving forwards, such as Tom Daly-Bashiru, and wingers, Martins, Tom Ince as well, where we can really utilise them and bring them into the game a bit more through using Rajovic. But I'm not going to be overly critical, to be honest with you, because he won us the game and we were crying out for a striker. Nothing against Vacu and Bayo, but if Bayo's playing yesterday, we don't score that chance. So, yeah, I'm still happy with him.
Ian in the comment section, Rajovic could be a 15+ goals a year man, given the right service. And all I'm going to say before we move on to the next player is if you give Ben Manga the freedom and the cash, he'll give you gems. Also, chat for Detsy falls into that bracket as well. Moving on to the next player who was, we've done Rajovic, Martins, and that was you, Sam, I believe.
Yeah, I love watching Mateus Martins play. I think he's really stepped up this season. I was slightly surprised to see him come off at about, 60 minutes or so. I think he seems to quite like taking Martins off. Ismail just to freshen things up. We know about the substitutions. But I think in that first half, he looks really dangerous. At times, we spoke about how he perhaps neglects James Morris's overlaps a bit more. A bit too much, sorry. I think he could release the ball a bit quicker, but I think he's really taken it up a notch this season. So I'll give him a 7.
7. Now going on to the substitutes. I'll kick it off with Jamal Lewis, who obviously made his Watford debut yesterday. For me, Charlie, I thought he was a big part of why we played a lot better in the second half. He gave us that balance. Absolutely rapid as well. I didn't realise how quick he is, but like sort of getting up and down. look fit in terms of like he didn't even at the end he didn't look like he was blowing too much. But I have to say I was impressed with the first 45 I've seen from him in a Watford shirt.
Yeah, his composure really impressed me. I thought it took him a bit of a while to get into the game, but he looked maybe not a Premier League player, but he just looked composed, like not rushed. He played the game at his own pace. And for Ryan Andrews' goal, he flicks it over one of their defenders, just drives it into the corner, kind of holds it up, turns back, think past it to Chapvedetsky, who squares it to Andrews. You know the rest. So, yeah, really, really impressed with Jamal Lewis. I think he could be a big player for us. So hopefully he stays fit, and it'd be interesting. I think we'll see him starting on Wednesday night.
What rating are we going for?
7.
Nice. Ishmael Kone. I'll do him. I think that was the best I've seen him in a Watford shirt. I'm actually going to give him an 8. I thought the impact he had on the game, he changed the game in my opinion, Kone. But as I said at the top of the show, he moved the ball quicker. He was forward thinking. There was drive. There was energy to his play. He came on like he had a point to prove. Best game in a Watford shirt for Kone for absolute sure. The one thing I would say, and I had a little think about it because I was like, why are we not seeing this more from Kone? But I actually looked at his minutes. And I know this is a guy we got from the World Cup, but I think we've not lowered the expectation, but I think we need to go easy on him in terms of he actually hasn't played that much football. If you look at his stats, although he played at the World Cup for Canada and he played for Montreal, the amount of minutes he's actually played professionally is not that many for his age compared to other players. And I think it might just be one of those where once he gets his groove and once he finds his feet, I think he could be a really good player for us. There's absolutely a player there. I'm convinced of it. So Kone, an 8 for me. Thought he changed the game. Sam, moving on to the next one. Georgie Chapvedetsky.
Again, I love Georgie. We saw him in that first game against QPR, and he was absolutely brilliant. I think his brief cameos since, I don't think maybe have lived up to that. But he was excellent yesterday. Looked really positive whenever he had the ball. Got the assist for Ryan Andrews as well. Intelligent to come inside and release the ball at the right time. I'll give Georgie a 7.5.
Yeah, great point. Do you think he's better off on the out wide, Sam, or in the middle? Because some people have suggested that he should maybe drift inside a bit more.
Yeah, I quite like him coming inside and bringing the ball into the middle. Defenders can't seem to get it off him when he's coming from a wide area and bringing the ball inside. But yeah, I'd have to see more from him. It'd be interesting to see. I know I said I quite like him off the bench with the sprayer as well. It'd be interesting to see how he would do starting a game as well.
Yeah, agreed. Moving on to the Espria, Charlie.
Whoa!
Hell of a chant, by the way, that.
Yeah. I enjoyed Yasser's performance. I don't think he's still really young. Like his end product, he needs to work on. But he got their player sent off by a bit, like not making a pullback. And I did think that sending off was crucial. I think it gave the crowd a bit of a lift, and I think it just gave the players the extra kind of motivation. Go, look, 10 men, let's go for it. So made that impact. Twisted a couple of Brummy blood on that right wing, and yeah, put the crucial ball in. So got another goal contribution. Special talent. Let's get him as many minutes as possible. 7.5.
7.5. That link up with Andrews is mustard. Absolutely love the look of that. And then finally, Ryan Andrews. So I don't know if he's still watching. But do you know what? Especially first special goal for Watford. Everything that came with it. I think if you give Rajovic 8 for the goal alone, you got to give Andrews an 8 just for the goal alone. And the knee slide, mate. Honestly, I hope the knees are doing okay. I think he said in the comment section that he's got a few scratches on the old knees. But yeah, what a moment! Really, really good moment. And as I said on a tweet yesterday, they're the sort of moments and the sort of players that this club is built on in terms of players coming through the academy, players who are from the local area, making it at Watford and playing in the first team. The only thing I would say to Andrews now is just keeping his head, because obviously it's like the rise he's had has been so quick and it's only going that way. Oh, he's still there. It's just whether he can just keep his head and keep working hard, because he's got all the ability to go right to the top. So top stuff, Ryan. Absolutely smashed it, mate. And yeah, I think that pretty much wraps up. Do you know what? We've got 2 more to do. Actually, 1 more to do. Valerie and Ismail. Charlie?
Maybe his highest score of the season. maybe we're talking with those substitutions and the impact. And he didn't make all the substitutions, didn't make 3 at once, did he? I think he got Kone on first, was it? So they're a bit more spread out. I don't know exactly the substitutions, but yeah, I think Val's done excellently. Like we talked about, the substitutions kind of won us the game. So I'm giving him an 8.5.
8.5. Love that. Sam, fans yesterday. Robbie says in the comment section, I thought the fans were great as well. 10 out of 10. Esprit coming on really got the crowd going. I'll tell you what, fair play to Birmingham. Their support was absolutely superb, to be fair. One of their chants has been stuck in my head for
Dion Sanderson. Oh,
Anderson.
my word.
Oh, my God. Stuck in my head.
How does it go?
I'm not repeating it.
Oh, it's like Sanderson, Dion. They were singing it, I think, for about 70 minutes without stopping. Jacob, I think you're probably better placed because you were the only one out of the three of us who was at the game yesterday. If I'm being honest, from the TV, all I heard was that Sanderson chant on repeat.
Yeah.
So
I thought it was flat a little bit at times, if I'm honest. But I tell you what, when the red cards, there was a point actually. I think when the subs came on, I think the fans realised that we can get something from this game. I think it was at that point everyone went, you know what, here we go. And I'll tell you what, the momentum really did swing our way in that last 20, 25 minutes. And as you say, Charlie, that red card, it's weird because I think as fans, when you see something tangible like that, you're like, okay, here we go. Whereas before, because it was not that it could have gone either way, but because Birmingham had a few chances, I think everyone was on a little bit of an edge. And obviously they hit the post, didn't they? In the second half, we hit the post with Porto, but they had some chances. You're thinking, okay, which way is this going to go? But overall, I thought the fans really grew into it. Like we did in the game, to be completely honest. And I think an 8 out of 10. Great limbs, by the way. That the limbs for that second one. Honestly,
it's nice to see a paw on the pitch, isn't it?
Hook that to my veins immediately. I'll tell you what, we're just going to wrap it up, Sam. Have you got the graphic for the Predictions League? And I don't know if anyone's been following.
I don't think we've got enough time for this,
Charlie would like to end the stream now just because it's not going too well for him. But hit Sam with the sort of stats and what's been happening.
Right, is that there for you?
Absolutely.
Oh, fantastic. So we can see Birmingham game. We haven't actually looked at the Prediction League for a few weeks now, but I put it in the group chat yesterday morning, so I realised we hadn't actually done it yet. So Jacob and I went for a 1-0 Watford win, and Charlie went for a 1-1 draw, meaning currently the table is I am top of the league with 4 points, Jacob in second with 3 points, and Charlie sitting at the bottom with just 1 point.
What was the? I'm not going to get too carried away though. We can't get too carried away. But to be fair, Sam, are we putting in the predictions for Wednesday?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Comeback's on.
Share screen. The comeback is on. Just quickly before we do that as well.
Result, not, sorry, mate. Go on.
Yeah, no. So it's also it is 1 point for the correct result, 3 points if you get the actual score correct.
Okay.
So I think the only 3-pointer so far this season, I think, was actually me in which game? Well, no, I don't think anyone's got actually a fully correct score so far. So, interesting. Just one thing before we do the predictions. Interesting, there was no Reece Healy or Vakun Bayo on the bench yesterday, which might be something to look out for over the next couple of weeks. I think it's becoming very clear that, I don't know, is it too early to say Reece Healy's not in Ismail's plans?
I think it's pretty clear, to be honest.
Yeah,
Charlie. Bit weird, wasn't it, Charlie? Not having an option that could replace Rev. I mean, look, Rajovic is going to stay on because he's the best option we have, and he fits Val's system the best. But it would have been, I guess, it not would have been good, but just in the sense that we haven't got another real out and out striker on the bench, which is a bit of a concern if Rajovic does get injured.
Yeah, if Rajovic gets injured, who's going up front? So I don't know if Bayo's picked up an injury in training. I think Val kind of said that Reece Healy had a bit of a calf issue, but his fitness was looking to improve. So let's see what happens on Wednesday and if any of those guys are available. But yeah, one to keep an eye on.
So just going on to Wednesday then, Jacob, what are you going for?
I'm going to go 2-1 Watford. I feel like our home record, the sort of feeling at home. Have we lost at home yet?
Blackburn.
Blackburn, yeah. Sorry, I forgot about that one. But I've got a good feeling going to home games at the moment after yesterday as well. Bit of momentum. I fancy us, so I'm going to go 2-1 Watford.
Charlie?
3-1 Watford.
Wow.
Bold. I think it's Under the Lights at Vicarage Road. Similar time last year, we beat Middlesbrough at home 2-1, and that was just a fantastic atmosphere. I think everyone's going to be up for it. I'm going to agree with Jacob and go 2-1 Watford. So, Charlie, you're taking the risk.
Playing it safe.
I'll tell you what, this is clever. This is clever from us, Sam, because we should make like a pact where like we sort of just go with whatever Charlie goes for, so he can't overtake us in the league. But no, absolute pleasure. One thing to mention about the Watford FC women, bit of a disappointing result today. First defeat at home since November, losing 1-0 to Blackburn Rovers. The sort of scenes at full time from Blackburn's team suggest they had to really dig deep and get a win there. So shame for the Golden Girls, but we move on. And Sam, just in terms of the next episode of the Watford Women's Show.
Yes, a very, very special video we have coming up this week. It will either be out tomorrow night or on Tuesday. So keep your eyes out for that. And we've got for a week of content, we've got probably an all-timer for WD18 with content coming up.
This is going into the Hall of Fame. You know, when they do like Premier League years, there'll be like WD18 years, will roll back the seasons, and this week will be like have a feature on it. But yeah, thank you very much to everyone who watched. I really, really do appreciate it. Great result for the Golden Boys. Charlie, Sam, pleasure as always. We'll be back. We've actually got our first post-match pint show this week, so make sure you do tune in for that. So we won't have a live like this, but we'll have a sort of reaction/review podcast on either Wednesday or Thursday. Keep your eyes peeled for that. Make sure you do subscribe so you don't miss that. Turn on your post notifications. Leave a like on the way out if you did enjoy it. It really does help us out. Make sure to drop us a follow on socials at WD18 Fans. Thanks to everyone who got involved in the comments. And we'll see you then. Great result for the Orns. Love it. I'll be on it. Take care, guys.